Hi, I'm Rashonda. I'm the creator of this YouTube channel, as well as the artbyro.com website, where you can find over 250 art and drawing tutorials. Again, that's artbyro.com, so be sure to check that out, but watch this video first, which is on how to draw a hibiscus flower. And these are really easy, they're fun, they're great for beginners. So let's go ahead and go on over to the art studio and get started on this drawing. In this video, I'm going to be drawing a hibiscus flower. These are easy to draw, they're really fun, they're nice, simple, pretty flower. You could do a lot of different things with them. I am going to be drawing mine on an artist trading card. And we are going to get started like usual with some basic shapes. So I know I like my drawings to fill up most of the artist trading card, and sometimes that means things will go outside of the edge a little bit, and I'm not too worried about that. So I'm going to draw this fairly big, somewhere towards the center. It doesn't have to be exactly in the center. I like to draw another circle right there in the very center of the flower. And then I also like to draw some lines coming out, dividing the flower up. So these are just some basic guidelines that are going to help us visualize where everything's going to be, what it's going to look like, and get everything in perspective of where we want it positioned on the paper and how it's going to look overall. Just gives us a little bit of an idea of what things will look like. So then I'm going to go ahead and start drawing in the individual petals. And I don't want them to be completely straight. There's going to be there might be some little rips or tears in the petals. There's going to be some little indentations in there. So I want to go ahead and draw those in. And if you want, you can draw some of these lines coming out. That's up to you. We can add them in now. We can add them in later. You may want to stylize your drawing a little bit. That's up to you. So again, we're going to draw another petal in here. And just sort of using that circle that we drew as a guide. We can draw some lines coming out again. And we're just going to do this, working our way around this circle, making the petals, making each individual petal. We can jump over here if we want and do the one thing about skipping and coming over to a different area is that you can have it's easier to make the petals overlapping instead of having them just go in a circle, because in nature, of course, they will overlap a little bit. So then this one over here, we can just tuck in behind these two. And I think I want to make this one come out a little bit further. And they don't have to line up all exactly perfect. You can have some longer, some shorter. There will naturally be some variations in them in real life. And then finish it up by drawing this last one in. So there's our basic flower shape with our petals. Now from here, from the circle, we're going to draw this coming out. And we want to curve it and draw it out past the petals a little bit so you can see it. And then it's got this little uneven area at the top. So we're going to draw some little squiggly lines there. This is going to be over top of the petals, so you're not going to see those petals there. And then the final thing we need to do is that we need to draw some leaves. And this is where, because I want to fill up everything with my flower, the leaves may end up coming off the edge of the paper a little bit, and that's okay. If that bothers you, then you want to make sure you draw your flower slightly smaller or use a bigger piece of paper. I like using artist trading cards, which I'll end up eventually trading most of them. Not always, but I do enjoy trading artist trading cards and collecting other people's artwork. That's fun. Makes getting the mail a lot more enjoyable than knowing the only thing that's going to be there is bills. So I do enjoy trading. I'm just going to make some lines coming off of there, and that's pretty much it for the sketch. So the next thing we want to do is going to be to outline it. And I'm just using an outlining pen. I prefer to use the pens rather than markers. And I'm literally just going to trace right over top of these pencil lines, at least all of them that I'm keeping. And just going over the entire drawing. You can make your outlines thick, you can make them thin, you can do a variation of line weight. All that is up to you. But I'm going to go ahead and get this outlined. I'm going to speed that up, and I'll be back when I have that finished. I have everything outlined. I added some shading, a little bit of hatching, which that's optional. You can add some shading. You could do it with your color when you add your color. I'm going to be using markers today. First, I'm going to clean up the pencil lines a little bit. And then we'll go ahead and get this colored in. So what I usually do is I like to pick 2 or 3 colors for each area. So I have 2 green, I have a light green, and then a darker green. And these are just alcohol markers. And I have many different brands that I can mix and match and try to get the colors that I want. But what I like to do is to use my lightest color first and fill this in, and then I'll add some kind of like some little shadow areas, some darker areas with the other marker. And then I like these little bullet tips. They work well. And for something like this, I might do like more of this bottom part darker, and then maybe a little bit up in that area, just to add a little variation to it. And then I like to go back with my lighter color and then blend those together so it's a little bit softer of a edge between the two of them. And then of course I'll do the same thing over here. And then for my flower, I have a light purple, kind of a pinkish, more of a pink color, and then a light purple. That's darker than the pink. That will be my darker color. And I'll fill the flower in that way. And then for this, and I apologize, I do not know flower anatomy. I don't know what that's called. If you know what that part coming off the middle, if you do know what that's called, let me know in the comments. I probably should have looked it up, but we can draw it without knowing what its technical name is. But we'll do some orange. We'll make that orange. And there's a lot of different colors for hibiscus. I know the ones that I have in my yard, I have pink and some are purple. And I'm sure if you're in a warmer climate from where I'm at, there's probably even more of variety that you can have. But this is how I like doing my markers. And of course, there's a lot of different ways. If you're new to markers, the best thing is just to experiment, try different things, watch some videos, see how different people do their colors, and then kind of mimic what they do and find your own style. Eventually, you'll figure out what works for you. So these are the purple colors I'm going to use. This is more of a pink and then a light purple. I'm going to do the same thing for the flowers, the petals, and then I will be back. I'm going to go ahead and speed that up, and I'll come back when this is done. I finished adding all of the color. And then the last thing I like to do with my drawings is to add some white with a Jelly Roll pen. And what I'll do is just add a little bit of white highlights to the drawing, just to sort of break up some of these bigger areas of color. I'm not being too deliberate with what I'm doing. I'm just finding some areas where I could throw in a little bit of white. Maybe up here a little bit. Just to add a little bit of contrast to the color. And again, this is optional. It's up to you what you think looks good, what you don't like. And that is it for this hibiscus flower drawing. I hope you enjoyed the video, and hopefully you feel inspired to make some of your own drawings. And I will see you next time. Happy creating! That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully you felt inspired to draw along with me and make your own hibiscus flower. Before you leave, if you did enjoy the video, please give it a like. It really helps us out and helps us reach more people. And also check out that description box. There's some freebies in there, including how to make artist trading cards at home. So go ahead and check that out, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!